All right, if you're a .NET developer, you know exactly what question I'm talking about. It's the big one, the one that's designed to map out your entire career in a single answer. Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to craft the perfect, rock-solid response to that question. You and me, together. Let's dive in. So, here's how we're going to do this. First, we'll look at the question itself. But then, and this is key, we're jumping straight to the gold standard answer. No waiting around. After that, we'll show you how to back it all up with your own experience, give you a killer project example to use, and finally, we'll pull back the curtain on what the interviewer is actually checking for. Okay, let's put ourselves right in the moment. Picture this. You're in the interview. You've gotten past the how are yous and the small talk. Then, the hiring manager leans forward, makes eye contact, and drops the question. And there it is. Look, this question is so much more than just a memory test of technologies you've used. It's really a way for them to see, do you get the big picture? Do you understand the history, the shift to modern architecture? Can you tell the story of your own growth? This is what separates the developers who just use the tech from the ones who truly understand it. So, what's the play? How do you answer without just fumbling through your entire resume? Simple. You lead with one single, incredibly powerful sentence. And you know what? We're not going to make you wait for it. We're giving you the perfect opening line right now. Boom, that's the line. Just think about it. That one sentence is your entire answer, completely condensed. It's the thesis statement for the whole story you're about to tell. Right away, you sound like you know exactly what you're talking about, and you've set this confident, clear path for everything else you're going to say. So why does this work so incredibly well? Well, first, it's confident, right? You're not waffling, you're stating a clear preference. It's super concise, no fluff, gets right to the point. And it's incredibly comprehensive. You've hit on both frameworks, MVC and APIs, and the key reasons for preferring Core. I mean, you've basically covered a decade of .NET evolution in what, 15 seconds? That's impressive. Okay, so you've just dropped that killer opening line. The interviewer's impressed. Now what? Well, now you prove it. It's time to back it up with the details. And the best way to do that is by telling a simple story, then versus now. First up, you start with then. This is your foundation. You talk about the classic stuff, right? MVC, Web API, Entity Framework. But here's the pro move, that last point. You give it context. You say, yeah, back then, these were mostly Windows-hosted, big monolithic apps. That little detail shows you weren't just a cog in the machine. You understood the whole ecosystem. And then you make the pivot to now, your ASP.NET Core experience. And just listen to the words you're using here. High-performance APIs, built-in dependency injection, middleware pipelines, async await. See, you're not just listing random tech. You're speaking the language of modern software development. And just like before, you add that crucial context. Docker, the cloud, and microservices. You're showing you get it. And that's the real magic here. The subtext of your entire answer is growth. When you frame it as then versus now, you're not just reading off a list of skills. No, you're telling a story that you've evolved, you've adapted, you've embraced the new stuff. It's a narrative of your career moving forward. You can think of this table as your mental cheat sheet. It's the why behind everything you've just said. Why do you prefer Core? Well, it's cross-platform. It's lightweight and modular. It has dependency injection baked right in, and it's just so much faster. The old framework just wasn't built for the modern world in the same way. Knowing this stuff cold shows you have a really deep, practical understanding, not just surface-level knowledge. Okay, this is my favorite part. The theory is solid, but anyone can talk theory. Interviewers want proof. They want to hear about what you've actually done. This is where you seal the deal by bringing your story to life with a real concrete project example. And what's the perfect scenario to talk about? A migration. Why? Because almost every company on the planet has some old, creaky legacy system they want to modernize. So when you frame your example as a migration, you're instantly telling them, I can solve a huge, expensive problem that you probably have right now. Now, here is the key when you tell this story. Be specific about what you did. Don't say, we migrated the app. That's too vague. Say, my role was to redesign the APIs, or I was responsible for implementing the async processing, or I handled the new JWT-based security. You need to use the word I. This shows ownership, and it highlights your specific, valuable contributions. And here it is, the knockout punch. You've got to bring the data. Numbers are your best friend here. You don't have to literally show them a chart in the interview, but you need to be able to talk about it. You're turning your code into a real, tangible business result. Saying something like, before the migration, API latency was around 400 milliseconds. After my work, we got it down to under 80. I mean, come on, that is just incredibly powerful.
So you wrap up your example by stating the outcome clearly. You didn't just move some code from one folder to another. You delivered real business value. The application became faster, it could handle more users, and it was more secure. You're connecting the dots for them, linking your technical work directly to the stuff that execs and managers actually care about.
Okay, let's take a quick peek behind the curtain. When that interviewer asks you this question, what's really going on in their head? What are they secretly trying to figure out?
Well, they've got this little mental checklist, and guess what? The answer we just built together, it checks every single box. Your then versus now story? Check. That's hands-on experience. The migration project? Check. That's migration knowledge. Talking about things like DI and async? Check. That's modern best practices. And bringing up those performance numbers? Huge check for performance and scalability awareness. You've basically answered all their hidden questions without them even having to ask.
And really, that's the biggest takeaway here. A great interview answer isn't a boring list of facts. It's a story. And by telling your story as a journey of evolution, from the old way of doing things to the modern high-performance way, you're showing them you're not just a coder. You're a thoughtful, adaptable, forward-thinking engineer, and that's who they want to hire. So next time you're prepping for that big interview, don't just memorize what you did. Think about the story it tells. Take the framework we've talked about today, plug in your own projects, and really think about it. How are you going to tell your migration story?